of mountain laurel wood. Never had a brother or a whole pair of pants, but when I play my fiddle, God, it starts to dance. Listen to my fiddle be lonesome in the air, and I'll tell you how I traveled to the Essex County Fair. Now, Essex County has a mighty pretty fair, and all the smarty fiddlers from the south come there. Elbows flying as they rosin up their bows for the first prize contest in the Georgia Fiddlers Show. There's old Dan Whelan with whiskers in his ears. He's been the kingpin fiddler for nearly 20 years. Big Tom Sargent with his blue eye, and little Jimmy Weezer who can make a fiddle cry. Well, they're all sitting around spitting high and strutting proud, and they're tuning and tuning when the judges tell the crowd, well, them that gets the mostest claps will win the bestest prize. Everyone's waiting for that first twiddly-dee when in comes a stumbling old hillbilly me. I bow right pretty to the judges and the rest, and I take a silver dollar from the whole side of my vest, and I put it on the table saying, there's my calling card, and anyone that licks me is going to have to fiddle hard. Old Dan Whelan was laughing fit to holler. Little Jimmy Weezer says, there's one dead dollar. But I just tucked my whippoorwill under my chin, and I tuned it, and I petted it, till the judges said begin. Well, Big Tom Sargent was the first to play. He could fiddle all night, he could fiddle all day. He could fiddle chills, he could fiddle fever. He could make a fiddle swoon, like a loving woman, or croon like a low-lying river. And they clapped like thunder when he finished strumming. Little Jimmy Weezer was the next to play. The next in line, he could fiddle all the bugs from a sweet potato pine. He could fiddle down a possum from a mile-high tree, or he could fill up a whale from the bottom of the sea. You could hear hands clap until they spanked each other raw when he finished with variations of turkey in the straw. Then came the ruck of the bobtail fiddlers, the let's go easy and the fair to middlers, and they got their claps, and they lost their bicker, and they settled back for some more corn liquor. But the crowd got tired of their no count squealing. Went out in the center, steps old Dan Whelan, with whiskers in his ears. He's been the kingpin fiddler for nearly 20 years. Well, he fiddled high, he fiddled low, he fiddled with a cherrywood bow. He fiddled the wind by the lonesome moon. He fiddled the most almighty tune. He started fiddling like a ghost. He ended up fiddling like a host. He fiddled here, he fiddled there, he fiddled salvation everywhere. When he was finished, the crowd cut loose. I sat there wondering, what's the use? Whippoorwill, fly home to your nest. Then I thought, you know, they fiddled the rose and they fiddled the thorn, but they haven't fiddled mountain corn. They fiddled sinful and they fiddled mortal, but they haven't fiddled the brushwood laurel. They fiddled loud and they fiddled still, but they haven't fiddled the whippoorwill. So I stood a perk, I grabbed my bow, my fiddle went to my shoulder so, and I said, there ain't no crowd to get me phased. I was alone where I was raised. Up in the mountains so still it makes you scared. Where God lies sleeping with a big white beard. I could hear the sound of the squirrels in the pines, and I could hear the earth breathing through the long night time. So I started off with a dump-a-lump and fire broke loose in Georgia. Stuck cabbage growing on a big-gum stump. Whippoorwill, you're singing now. My mother was a whippoorwill perp. My father, he was lazy. But I'm heck broke loose in the new store shirt to fiddle all Georgia crazy. Swing your partner up and down the middle. Sashay now, listen to that fiddle. Flapjack's bubbling on a red-hot griddle, and fire broke loose. Fire broke loose. Fire broke loose in Georgia. There wasn't a sound when I finished bowing. But somewhere or other, the dawn was growing. I thought, you know, I fiddled all night, lost. You were good, hillbilly, but you've been bossed. So I went over to congratulate old man Dan, and right then, right when I walked up to him, he put his fiddle into my hand. And then the noise of the crowd began.